We are back in the house that Max Coverage has built. Kiefer, can you hear me, sir?
I'm here. I am here. I can hear you. Let's do this thing.
All right, guys. Episode number 2, virtually, baby, on the StreamYard, coming at you live so you can come in, comment, talk to us, interact with us, join in on the conversation. Feel free, ask us any questions you want. You know what I'm saying? We have last seen y'all a couple days now because I was a little under the weather. Usually we have an episode Tuesday or Wednesday, but I was a little under the weather, so I had to push it back a little bit, make it a little weekend episode with y'all with Kiefer.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing
I'm
is,
good now.
guys, I just couldn't find another person named Max to take over. But I'm
Just
really
as this
glad you're
last time.
back. And I am really glad that you are feeling better.
Yeah, man.
Non
Dayquil
COVID
does
illness is gone.
wonders. And it's funny, man. I don't really get sick often, but this season I feel like I have. So I'm just ready for this flu season to be gone with and done with. And I'm ready for football season to start already, man. It's getting a little close. I mean, we're pushing June now. That's when, teams have the OTAs, the mini camps. We start getting a little press conferences during practice and stuff like that. But we're
No,
getting a
no.
little
What we get, bro, what we get is these. Oh, this guy's going to break out. He's looking
oh
real
yeah.
good in camp. He's been looking real good
He's
against the
turning
other
some
third
heads.
stringers. And then it's like, we are who they thought they were, you know?
Yeah. And then, we have Hard Knocks coming soon. So football is not quite here yet, but they just dropped the schedule. So this is like the last little hype that we were waiting for because now we get this, plan what games to go to, what tickets to buy, our red zone setups. You know what I'm saying? So now we have the schedule, Kiefer. Everything is out. All the primetime games are out. Man, we've had this season. It looked like they hit it on the head with these matchups, bro. Like I feel like this year, the NFL has really took into like, yo, we want to beat out everybody on TV with these like primetime games, and I feel like they will, man, because I don't think even the Thursday night games look good. Prior seasons, they haven't looked that good. We look at the Thursday night game for the week, we're like, oh, great, this is gonna be a snooze fest. But looking at this schedule, it looks great. So that just brings up the first topic for our episode. What are your top 3 games for this upcoming season? After we look at the schedule, we'll keep it to 3. What are your top 3 that stand out to you? Like, yo, I cannot wait to watch this.
Let me start by saying the one thing that stood out to me the most on this schedule that really just grinds my gears. All right. And I'm sure that all the Jaguars fans are with me. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Last year, our one primetime game was an away game over in Cincinnati. So this year, I'm banking. Like this year, we are going to have a home Thursday game. Hell yeah. Mark me in. I'm going to take that Friday off. We're going to have a good time. Schedule comes out. Boom. We're going to be in New York. What the hell, NFL? Come on, guys. It's our turn, okay? It's our turn. And it's not like that was going to make my top 3 games, okay? But I wanted to go to that game, and that really pisses me off. Anyways,
I'm
my
sorry.
best 3 games of this year, all right? Number 3 is the opening game of the NFL season, the Bills and the Rams. Listen, this is a potential Super Bowl matchup. This is going to be a absolute slugfest. I have no idea who's going to win that game, but I can't wait for that one. That is a perfect way to kick the season off.
Yeah, that game, like that was the first game I saw. I was like, whoa, they started really good.
That's
For me,
Goliath versus Goliath right there to
yeah,
kick off the season. And it's just, could you imagine, bro? Like, if I bet this has never happened. I don't know if this has never happened, but could you imagine, like this is the game that starts the season, and then what if it ended the season too in the Super Bowl? That'd be nuts.
That'd be crazy.
So
This
had to
game
put
kind of
that at 3.
this game kind of resembles like the Rams and Chiefs in Mexico a couple years back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Basically the two best teams in the conference, like
But didn't
on paper.
that didn't happen in Mexico, right? Didn't they go to Mexico and the field was like messed up, so they brought it back?
Oh yeah, you're right. I think you're right. It
Yeah.
was a Monday night game though. It
Yeah.
was supposed to be in
Yeah,
Mexico.
but it was supposed to be in
Yeah.
Mexico.
Yeah,
But
and then
they got
they
there
used-
and the field was all screwed up because they used it
it
for
was like a
soccer.
soccer. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
hella funny.
But yeah,
But
that game
hopefully
is
they'll have their shit together for that Mexico game this year. I
yeah.
think they've learned
But
their lessons.
for me, the third game on my list, it has to be the Packers and the Bills. We October 30th, week 8, Sunday Night Football. We're heading to Buffalo. That just screams a crazy good game to me. You know, I don't think the Packers and the Bills have played since Josh Allen has
I
been the
think
quarterback.
you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
I feel like
possible. So Josh Allen's been in. This is
going to be
year
his
4th for him. No,
this
no,
is his
he's
4th.
been in 4th.
He'll be
Oh
this
my
will
God,
be
I'm
his
getting
4th year.
confused.
This will be his 4th year.
Okay,
think
then
so.
yeah, this is if this is his 4th year, this is the first time he's played y'all.
So that's why I was like, oh man, Rodgers versus Josh Allen, the first time we seen this. And of course, Micah Hyde used to be a Packers. I mean, 2 North teams used to the freezing cold, you know what I'm saying? So
this is actually his 5th year.
Oh wow. Yeah,
So
he's already been in the league.
actually, he might have played y'all. I can try to find it because like he didn't start, I think, like the first 6 games or so of his rookie year. But in theory, you guys should play each other once every 4 years.
Yeah.
So he should have played you his rookie year if he played all those games, but he didn't.
Yeah, so I just like off the top of my head, I was like, I don't think they played each other yet. So has to be number 3 for me. What's your second game? That's popping out on the paper to you?
My second game is actually 2 games, all right, because it's a divisional game, but I just can't wait for it. The 49ers and the Rams, okay? They play in week 4 on Monday Night Football, and then week 8 as the Fox NFL game of the week, the 425 one. Dude, I mean, first of all, this is a rivalry now between Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, where Kyle Shanahan has whooped up on him. Like last year, the 49ers beat them twice in the regular season, but then they lost in the playoffs. So I just can't wait for them to go up against each other. It doesn't matter who's the quarterback, whether it's Jimmy G or Trey Lance. The 49ers have a good team, and they have owned the Rams.
Yes,
and I think that is going to be a really tight game.
Yeah, those games are always freaking good. Yeah, those games are always good. For me, I had to go with the Chiefs versus Broncos, December 11th, week 14, because I picked this matchup, Sunday Night Football. It's later on in the season, so I think a lot more will be, up for grabs, like divisional title, seeding in the AFC. I just feel like late in the season, week 14, with these teams match up, the Broncos are going to be at home. I think this could be winner. This could be the winner of the division right here. You know what I'm saying? So week 14, Chiefs and Broncos, that's going to be popcorn. Get them. It's going to be
I'm
good
surprised.
one.
I'm surprised that's the game you put there because
number 2.
I think
number 2.
Okay. All right. Well, my number 1 game, and honestly, there was a lot of different ways you could have made arguments to put the 3 games in there because there was a lot of games that I felt super guilty leaving out, but you can only have 3. So my number 1 game has to go with the Bills and the Chiefs in week 6.
The rematch.
Okay. The rematch that we all can't wait to see. I understand that this isn't the same Chiefs team. Okay. There's no Tariq Hill, which is just such a bummer, but regardless, okay. I just think that Pat Mahomes he's gonna remember. He's not gonna be happy about what happened.
He never forgets.
I'm sorry. Josh Allen isn't gonna. I'm sorry. I meant Josh Allen isn't gonna forget. But regardless, that's gonna be a great game. It's gonna come down to the wire. So can't wait for that one.
That didn't crack my top 3.
I understand.
But
You could
it's
go
up
anywhere
there.
with it.
My number one was your number three, the first game of the season. I mean,
Yeah.
the Bills and Rams just starting this whole season off. I mean, they just picked the greatest matchup on paper, and it's a revenge game for Von Miller. So
I don't know.
I know, but
Revenge. We won the freaking Super
hey,
Bowl, man.
screw you guys. I know you wanted me here. I left for more money and we won a championship. But
Right.
screw
There's
you
no
guys.
revenge about it.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's the only reason, because you're right. That is the best matchup on paper. But the only reason that the Chiefs and the Broncos Chiefs and the Bills are number one for me is just because of the backstory of it, the history behind it. So,
But yeah, so I mean, I just can't wait. Now after that schedule release, I was like, man, I'm really excited for this freaking season. But that just leads me to this next question: is who are your you know how each team does a kind of a hype release video for their schedule?
yeah, yes, they do, all of them.
Who's your top three that you think just broke social media, that did their thing, and made it interesting and more entertaining?
Well, let me start by saying I didn't get to watch all of them. I watched a lot
No.
of them. I watched all of the AFC teams and like half of the NFC teams. But this was another one where, like, honestly, there were so many that were good. I have
Oh my
such
god.
a long honorable mentions list that I can't even go through the whole thing because I'm like, screw it, that's too many. I actually made a lame schedule releases list too because there was only a few, but there was some guys that really dropped the ball. All right,
Really?
just weren't. Why'd you even participate type shit? But let me start with the good, okay? Number 3 for me was the Broncos one. Okay, I don't
Yeah.
know if you saw it, but it
I
was
saw
Russell
it.
Wilson
Yeah.
and Peyton Manning, and he's he's teaching him. He's taking over as the intern. That was a great, funny one. Another one for me, number 2, and this one a lot of people probably wouldn't crack their top 3, but I just loved it. The Bills. It was literally nothing. It was so random,
What?
and that was the point. Like, so it starts off with Dawson Knox, and he's just sitting in this chair, and he's just munching down. Or actually, he opens a pizza box. He sits down with on a table and a chair with a pizza box there. He opens it. It's like full of chicken wings, and he just starts stuffing his face with these chicken wings. And then all of a sudden, this guy comes with a drum, and he starts beating a beat while he's eating, and then they just start bringing in all these random shit. And the last thing they bring in is Josh Allen, and he's like doing something weird. And then he all of a sudden he goes, I know what you're thinking. What's the point of all this? There is no point. Here's the schedule.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Well, I don't know. I just thought
one.
it was nothing, but it was just funny in the nothing.
Yeah.
And then number 1, I mean, listen. This was a great one. The Chargers, okay? They went with this like anime production, which was already sweet in itself, but they took so many jabs, bro. Every team they were playing, they were striking, bro.
Yeah.
They had, I don't know if you noticed, but like when they played the Jaguars, that cartoon character that they had, they had a cartoon character with a Jaguar head on. It was Urban Meyer in the bar. It was the Urban Meyer photo of him in the bar, animated with this Jaguars head on. And I was like, oh my God, are you guys serious? And then also when they took a personal attack at Nina Kimes. I have no idea why. Okay. Nina Kimes was very upset about it. She was annoyed as shit. She's like, I stand up for these guys' 4th down decisions more than anybody. I don't understand. But basically on a tombstone, it said Nina Kimes football hopes and dreams. And they had a few tombstones out there. I didn't get to look at all of them, but I noticed her name was on one of them. And then when they played the Cardinals, they have Kyler Murray deleting posts on his phone.
Oh man!
And then they show a picture of a trash can, and there's like a box in it, and it says AB's discarded helmets from like his time with the Raiders. And then also Pat McAfee was in it when they play the Colts. They show Pat McAfee, and he's like doing some elevator thing. Yeah. That was what it was. And he had it just looked like him, and then he had a tank top on that said "For the Brand." So I'm pretty sure that was Pat McAfee.
That's cool.
I just thought that theirs was like so much thought process too. And I'm not going to go through all my honorable mentions, but a feel good one. If you just want to feel good about yourself, watch the Carolina Panthers one, man. It's just going to take you back. Just going to take you back.
That was my number one. That was my number one.
Go ahead. Tell me your three.
Yeah. The number 3 was the Chargers. All these were freaking good. The Chargers, the Broncos was my number 2, just because it was so freaking funny. The funniest part was when Russell Wilson was with the mascot and he was putting the mail in the boxes and he goes, "It's a slot right here. Easy." But the Panthers one, that was so dope. Like 90s all the way, bro. Like everything. And then they had like Thomas Davis as the ice cream man outside. Yeah, like that was and then at the end it was like the Etch-a-Sketch had all the teams on there. So like that just brought me back, bro. Like throwbacks for sure.
It was a feel good one.
Yeah, and the music, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what, what I'm saying.
Let me give you my losers though, because there was a few guys where it was just like, dude, what the hell are you guys doing? All right. Let me start with the Texans and the Patriots. Okay, no shocker there. Okay, if there's anybody that's not going to participate in the schedule release games, it's those guys, and they
didn't do
dropped the ball. They like did them, but they're like, so the Patriots one specifically was literally just like some ex-player naming off the games and like just talk, like it wasn't a, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a video. It wasn't like it wasn't entertainment. And then also the Ravens and the Browns, those two, I believe theirs were videos, but they were just boring. They just weren't good. So
you're just sitting there watching like, what the hell is this?
Like, why did you even participate? Why'd you even do this? Just drop a tweet with the schedule. Jesus. Terrible.
Right. Yeah, but definitely a lot of people are like mad at the whole NFL schedule thing. They're like, it's so like extra, like
I like it.
I know, I do
cool.
too.
And I heard Ian, and well, not just Ian, it was like all of the NFL Network. They were talking about they should do like a media war type of thing with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they should do like an award thing with it. Just for fun. I mean, we're not doing anything else. What do we have better to do? And it'll give those guys some more incentive as the social media teams, you know? It's like a Super Bowl type of event for them. That's what basically the idea. I thought that would be cool. Like, why not?
Yeah, I mean, imagine how long it took the Chargers team to make that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm sure they outsourced some of that shit, bro. Yeah. There's no way you had somebody in there that could have animated all that. The Keenan Allen on the bye week is meditating. That was cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was awesome, man. I'm ready for the season. We already saw the Jags play the Cowboys late in the season, so we will be going to that game because we do not like sitting in that hot ass weather.
Yes.
Getting sunburned, man.
So basically, in case you guys didn't hear, there was a Twitter page that was dropping fake games like it wasn't true, and they just got like 10,000 followers. People were, I believed it. I thought it was true. They said the Jaguars played the Cowboys week 1, and I was like, oh no. Obviously, French wanted to go to that game, and I was like, I don't think I can do it week 1, but thank God it's in December, I believe, or December.
December 18th, bro. It's gonna be great.
So that's gonna be a good time to go. I was hoping to go to 2 games this year because I was really banking that we were getting that Thursday night game, but I'm pretty sure I'll just be going to probably the preseason and then that one game.
Yeah.
But one last thing on the schedule. Well, I have one last thing. So we took a look at the teams, the number of primetime games that teams have gotten. All right. A couple of things stand out. One thing that stood out to me is the Bears getting 3 primetime games. What the hell are we doing? Why are the Bears getting 3 primetime games?
They'll get flexed out. I'm sure.
I hope so. I really hope so, because the Bears 3, that doesn't make any sense. I doubt the Bears are going to be any good this year. Another thing that stood out is, so I can tell on this primetime list, they're not really counting all of the primetimes because they have Detroit listed as 0. And Dan the Man Campbell was like, hell yeah, 1 p.m. games. Let's just do it. He was all about it. Yeah, you didn't see that?
No.
Yeah, he was like, hell yeah, man. We knock it out. Get ready for the next one. But one thing I can tell is they're not counting every primetime game, because to me, I mean, the Lions get the Thanksgiving game every year, the 12 p.m. game every year. Then the Cowboys get the 4:30 one every year. To me, that's a primetime game. And same with the Jaguars with the 9:30. That, to me, that's a primetime game.
I
but
think they
they
just
obviously
consider
don't count
prime
those.
time as like a night game for the
Thursday,
U.S.
Sunday, Monday
and
night,
Monday,
probably.
yeah. Because like it'll be prime time in London. You know what I'm saying? Like the London game, like 9:30 here, but it's gonna be like it's 6 o'clock there. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So I mean, it is considered prime time, but I think the NFL, like when they do that little spreadsheet, they just count for like the Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday nights. Because I would assume the Saturday night games would be prime time as well.
I don't
You
know.
know?
I don't know if they're counting those or not.
Yeah. I know there's
Another
one
thing
week.
that's sweet this year, another thing that's awesome, random as hell, but it just came to mind. So Christmas is on a Sunday this
Yeah, I
year.
was just about to say
So, oh, okay, go ahead, go ahead.
one week is on Saturday. Like the whole
Yeah.
freaking.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I gotta request that with day off from work.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
going to be awesome. And then Sunday we still have games. It's just the
Yep.
three
The
prime
three.
time basically. So
Yeah.
that's going to be an awesome week.
Yeah, that's gonna be really fun. And I know the Packers play Christmas Day against the Dolphins that day. So, well, now that the schedule's here, let's break down the sophomore rookie quarterbacks. Like, just give us a top three. After this offseason has happened, free agents have signed, the draft's gone. What three quarterbacks from last draft are best suited for a breakout year this year? Sophomore quarterbacks.
Yeah, so this for me, this isn't going to be about what I think about the quarterbacks. This is just about what the teams did to set that quarterback up for success. So number 3 for me is the Jaguars. Listen, it's not that the Jaguars got anybody that is super incredible. We didn't get some Devontae Adams. We didn't get some Tariq Hill, but we did get a lot of other random things, right? Like we got Christian Kirk and Zay Jones. That's two like number 2, number 3 type of receivers. We added an Evan Ingram. That's an extra tight end to go with Dan Arnold. We're going to get Travis Etienne back this year. We signed Cam to a long-term deal. We kept him. We signed Brandon Sheriff. So we drafted a center. So it's really not necessarily about who they got, just that they actually addressed the issues, because the other guys, the Texans, the Patriots, and the Bears, to me, I'm letting you know right now, those 3 quarterbacks are not making this list because their teams did absolutely nothing really to help them. And then number 2, I got Zach Wilson and the Jets. The Jets made a lot of fire moves this offseason. Specifically, their draft class is awesome. So they have Garrett Wilson. They drafted one of the top running backs in the draft. They got they got Jermaine Johnson. They got Sauce Gardner. So I just think that team improved dramatically. And although I think that Zach Wilson will not have a ton of success this year, you look at the Jets, the first 9 games of their season. Listen, it's tough.
It's brutal.
Okay, you got the Ravens, the Browns, the Bengals, the Steelers, the Dolphins, the Packers, the Broncos, the Patriots, the Bills. So that is a tough 9 games to start. But as far as weapons around you and like shit to actually develop, the Jets set Zach Wilson up really nicely. They added a tight end, Uzma from the Bengals. So they added a lot for him. And then my number 1 team, honestly, this team didn't need to do anything. This guy was going to be set up for the most success regardless. That's Trey Lance. We don't know for sure that this guy is going to start, but I think that he is going to start. And I think all this chatter that he's not ready, I don't think that the Niners are looking at it this way. A lot of people say that the moves that they've made, which the only thing that they're really pointing out is the fact that Jimmy G's still on this team. But the only reason Jimmy G is still on this team is because they're trying to get value out of Jimmy G. I think that Trey Lance is ready. And you look at the shit around him. I mean, you couldn't ask for more as a young quarterback. I mean, you got a genius play caller, okay? You got George Kittle, you got Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. Like, you're straight, bro. I mean, the running backs, it doesn't even matter who's the running back is, because Kyle Shanahan is going to make it work. They bring running backs in and out all the time, and they all have success.
Yeah, so your list is just like mine, bro. I think we have some swapped. So number 3, I have Zach Wilson, just like you just touched on. I mean, he's set up for success. This is going to be make or break year for Zach Wilson. And I know for a fact, if he does fail, they will draft another quarterback next season because they are addressing every single need, around the team already. Like on
And you
paper.
bring up a good point actually with that because I mean most quarterbacks get more time. Like most quarterbacks get their
Yeah.
4 years. I don't think Zach Wilson will because of the
No.
way that the moves that the Jets have made. If you're not going to succeed with this, bro, you're not going to succeed because you look at the other players. They already had Elijah Moore. I mean, he was coming into his own. He looks really good, and Michael Carter. He had already looked really good. And then you had Corey Davis already. So you don't really have excuses not to have success. The team might not necessarily win, but you have no excuses to not have success on the offensive side.
And defensively, they're looking better. You know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah, they're looking better.
They're I'm gonna hold my breath, but they're a couple pieces away from being competitive. You know what I'm saying? So if Zach Wilson fails this year, then it's a wrap for him. My number 2 is Trey Lance. I put him number 2 just because we don't know if he's going to be a starter yet. But I'm with you. I'm assuming he's going to be the starter, but I don't have that, confirmation. So I just, for right now, he's number 2 on my list. And number 1 is Trevor Lawrence, man, because you say, the Jags didn't really put too much, crazy around him. The one thing I will say, he has a great coach now. That's
Excellent
the one thing.
Excellent
That's
point.
the one thing because I'm going to take Urban Meyer and Doug Peterson. I'm taking Doug all freaking day. And the way that he just works with quarterbacks, it doesn't matter. He has better talent around him now, and he's getting Travis Etienne back, but he has better coaching this season. So that's why I have him number 1, and I feel like he is destined for a great season because, when he was coming out, he was the most talented player in this draft. So let's see it, Trevor. And of course, I didn't put Mac Jones because now there's, reports going around that players are alarmed about their offense coming into, next season. So
yeah, because it looks like Joe. So they obviously the Patriots aren't talking about shit, but Joe Judge and Matt Patricia are both considered offensive assistants. So a lot of people think one of those guys is going to be calling the plays this year.
Yeah, and a lot of there's just insiders that are saying players have contacted me saying that they're alarmed about the way Coach Belichick has set up the offense, staff wise, personnel wise, and stuff like that. So I didn't.
And I mean, and you look at it too. Another reason, they're almost last to me. Honestly, the only reason the Bears are farther than them is because at least the Patriots have a couple receivers for Mac, but the Bears have nobody. But the Patriots, I mean, the heart and soul was the defense, and I feel like they really stripped that thing down, man. I mean, without J.C. Jackson, dude, and then they lost a couple of people, so it's just Kyle Van Noy, they lost quite a few leaders on that defense. So I don't see how they're going to be competitive this year.
And they didn't address a corner in the draft. Nope. You thought they were going to get McDuffie. You know what I'm saying? And they ended up getting Cole Strange. I don't know, exactly. Man. It's gonna be a weird season for them. But I mean, let's jump to the NCAA for a second because the craziness, as you know, happened yesterday about Nick Saban versus Jimbo Fisher, 2 best friends. They grew up together. They grew up in West Virginia together. They're best buddies. Of course, Jimbo coached under Nick Saban, and I think it was LSU. And
it was LSU.
LSU,
no, just LSU. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so that whole thing came out because Nick Saban went on this press conference stating the NIL, rules and stuff like that, that now teams are basically buying their players. The recruitment is out the window. It's just them and the vouchers are buying players. And he even pointed a finger, said, Texas A&M, guys over there. Because now Texas A&M is the number 1 recruiting class in the nation. So he was saying he's buying all the players, all right? He's buying all their damn players. I haven't done that. I'm not going to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the money situation. So he's basically saying, hey, Alabama's going to be screwed in years coming because now this whole NIL deal is
I
out.
don't think that's what he was saying. That's not how I took it.
Well, he
So
was just saying he's not set up to like
this is I heard what he
keep
said. So
going.
this is my thoughts. So basically what it seemed like he was trying to get at to me is that there is a rule with like these NIL deals. They're not actually supposed to use the NIL deals as a recruiting tool. So that's like a rule. But basically what he's saying is the NCAA has no power to enforce this rule because the players are legally allowed to take this money. So regardless, there's nothing the NCAA can do. And he's basically saying that this is a slippery slope and that it's not going to be good for the NCAA in the long run to let this happen. And he doesn't know what they're going to be able to do to get control of it. And he basically pointed out Texas A&M, and he was like, these guys only beat us in recruiting because they are doing this. And then he also pointed out that the corner that Deion got, and he was like, they basically gloated about doing it. And okay, a D1 corner going over to this school, it's not fair, basically, is what he was preaching. And then Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher. Listen, first of all, let me start by saying, screw both of these guys, all right? Screw Jimbo Fisher, but also screw Nick Saban even more, all right? I'm FSU fan, so that's why I don't like Jimbo Fisher, okay? But listen, to me, Jimbo's obviously right. Jimbo came back and was like, listen, all right, screw those guys. We ain't doing nothing wrong, okay? This is my thing. I actually think that there's no issue with it turning into a bidding war, all right? Listen, I'm all for players making money. So if you're going to offer them the most money, that's where they should fucking go, bro. I mean, whatever. Like, who cares? All right, Bama, and I agree with Jimbo. Bama's upset because they probably already been doing the shit. Okay, they've been doing it in different ways, like probably giving parents jobs. I bet that's like the number one recruiting thing people do is give your parent a fucking job where they're making a shit ton of money or at least like really good money. You know what I'm saying? Like better money than you're used to type of job. And I just think that probably happens all the time. Okay. And I think that Nick Saban is salty that the playing field is about to get way more evened up. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it, bro. I mean, honestly, and how Jimbo was like, yo, y'all need to go look in it. He was like indirectly saying, you need to go.
He was dry snitching for
this
real.
Motherfucker's past. All right. Because he been the dirtiest of us all. Okay. You want to see how they've been winning? This is the greatest guy. This is the greatest of all time. Go take a look at his past. I hope somebody does. I hope somebody does dig some shit out on Nick Saban, Screw people like that. And Nick Saban's done shit like this in the past too. Like, one time he like blasted Ronnie Harrison for like no reason, dude. He was talking basically about players not listening to him. And he was basically like, I had a player that if he would have stayed one more year, he would have been first round pick. I told him he would have been first round pick, blah, blah, blah. He didn't listen to me. He went in the draft. He went in the third round. He was talking about Ronnie Harrison. And it was just like, bro, are you serious right now? Like, you're going to put somebody on blast. It's so obvious who you're talking about. Like, why would you put somebody on blast like that? Because he said his position too. He was like, played safety. And I was just like, bro, you're a dick, dude. And yeah, maybe that's true, but he also hit free agency at an earlier age. So that's a debate that you can have.
The funniest thing is, like, I was watching the Pat McAfee show, and like he was talking about this whole thing, and he was like, "Oh, when Jimbo, like, first of all, Jimbo, shout out to him because he called that press conference himself. He said, hold on, nah." He was talking shit about me. I gotta get some shit off my chest, So that those emotions were going, bro. The reporter,
and it was funny how he was like, he called me. He's like, "Nope, didn't answer. Not gonna."
Yeah,
we're done. We're done. You're right. He was pissed. You know what? Oh man. So they play this year, right? So that game is gonna. They need to prime time the shit out of that. To be honest with you, bro, it'd be sweet if they did like a charity fight or something. I always want shit like that to happen. The
celebrity boxing match.
Yeah, like I always want shit like that to happen when something like this happens because it's so fucking personal.
Yeah, but he was like saying like y'all should dig through his past, and then like Pat McAfee's like, well, be careful, buddy, because you're part of his past, aren't you? Yeah. So you might get really.
What does Jimbo know? Yeah,
yeah, right. So yeah, it was crazy though, because now he's starting to point fingers at Deion. Like, first of all, how you gonna get mad at an HBCU college for getting a great player? You're Alabama. You know what I'm saying? You have been great for years. It's okay to lose players to other teams. Like that's just how like selfish and stingy, these coaches are. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And it's like, bro, you have 7 rings or so. Like you're still like getting pissed off at, you know, people
And you know the
transferring.
sad part is like, dude, honestly, bro, like you should still you're Alabama. So like even with this NIL deal, you should still be able to just get this money, bro. I
Fuck
mean,
yeah.
like straight up, you are so established. There's no way that you can still look at this at like Alabama's no longer at advantage. Like there's
Yeah.
less of an advantage, but there's still an advantage, bro. So it's ridiculous that they're acting like this.
Yeah. Well, there's people like Shannon Sharp saying like you're not gonna find a California guy going all the way to Alabama to play football now with this NIL stuff going around. You know what I'm saying? Like there's
Yeah.
there's gonna be kids that they don't want to go down to freaking Alabama to play football anymore. Now with USC, up and coming with Lincoln Riley and other schools like Texas A&M and all these other schools, Alabama might have a little drop off of people because of this deal. So I'm
Yeah.
with you though because I think as long as Nick Saban's there, there's gonna be kids that want to go to Alabama just for that reason. But now,
And it's not even just that, bro. I mean, you should have so many boosters. Like, how many diehard Alabama fans do you know? A shit ton. They're
yeah,
like one of the biggest fan bases. So that's where I'm like,
and
bro, I mean, yeah, you're going to see a drop off because other people are going to be able to compete with your price tag. But regardless, you should still be able to compete with them. It's not like you're going to be at a disadvantage.
and that was another thing that Pat McAfee kind of like hinted at was like it was seemed like Urban was like taking shots at the boosters. You know what I'm saying? Like or the vouchers, like just taking
You
shots
mean
at
Nick
them.
Saban was?
Yeah, because he was saying like he
You
said
said
like we're
Urban.
not. No, I said Pat. Oh yeah, Nick Saban. My bad, Nick Saban. Yeah, he was like taking little jabs at saying like, oh, we're not structured to keep up with this. Basically saying we don't have enough money to run with these guys with these little
Bullshit,
NILs. I don't
dude.
know.
Bullshit.
That's
You
what that
really
was his
think that?
Pat's. That was no. That I'm saying that was what Pat McAfee was kind of like
I
hinting
just
at.
don't see how they wouldn't be able to. I really don't. Like,
I don't either.
just
I thought
because
they would
you're in
have plenty.
Alabama, like you're a huge school. Your football
Yeah,
program is massive. Like you have reach. Like it's not like you can only get sponsors in your local area. Like you can get
yeah.
big ass fucking sponsors.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's what I was just listening to on his show the other day. I was like, that's interesting because I feel like Alabama is like you said, one of the most popular freaking fan bases throughout college football. But yeah, this whole thing is crazy. I mean, Nick Saban came out and said, "Oh, I apologize. Like I didn't really mean to single anyone
I
out."
didn't see that. I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
I don't think he like made a press conference, but he made a statement saying like,
Right, right. I mean,
I
he
got the
should,
Bleacher
dude. That
Report.
was like messed
I
up,
know.
honestly.
I know, like he regrets it. I was like, he shouldn't have. He was sitting up there too. He was pissed, man. He was shaking his foot. He was getting like
Mhm.
irritated as hell. He was like, "Let me
I
get some
mean,
shit on my
it's
chest."
probably the combination of the fact that not only they beat you in the recruiting this year, but they beat
They
you
beat
last
you,
year.
yeah.
Yeah, they actually beat you. So
And it's
I
like
feel like he's
it's your
just being a
boy,
sore loser. It's like, bro,
yeah.
honestly, isn't this the kind of shit you're supposed to coach like players on? Being like a good
Mm-hmm.
sport. Like, come on, bro. Don't
Exactly.
isn't that what they say? Don't like he's literally. I guess he is taking the don't hate the player, hate the game, but like. I mean, he's literally calling players out that he hates, basically. Like, what is your
Yep.
problem, bro?
Yeah. This whole thing's crazy. Well, do you have any little notes before I jump back into some of mine? Because I know you have some stuff jotting down over there.
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about a couple of draft picks first. We're gonna take a look at the Titans camp. All right, they have a little rookie mini camp, and they got an interview with Malik Willis first of all, and he cleared the air about him and Tannehill. He said that they are cool, in fact, and that Tannehill is a cool dude. He had him over
Yeah.
for like a dinner or something, and he basically was like, "I think you guys are taking this out of context," and I thought that was cool of him. But then one of the top draft pick Titans, the first round pick that they got for AJ Brown, they drafted uh,
Traylon.
Treylon Burks, And 15 minutes into this workout, he was
15.
winded, and he said, "You know what, guys? I'm gonna need a break, okay? Because wow, we did not do shit like this back at Arkansas." Okay,
Bro,
Max, what do
I,
you think about that, man? A rookie
I
coming in
saw.
first rounder, he gets winded and he needs to take a break in the middle
First
of the
of all,
workout.
first of all, I'm happy we didn't draft him because this is the guy that I wanted desperately the Packers to draft, and it turns out he has asthma or something like that. And I didn't know this, but when I was watching those clips of like Traylon working out, they had a drill where he had like a harness wrapped around him, and there was someone pulling him back, and he was like going to like pick up like a ball or something, and there were people like pulling him back. Bro, he was like all like like
He was
swaying
struggling
back
with
and
it.
forth. Yeah, he looks so bad out there, dude. I was like, I don't know what kind of drill this is. Maybe it's like a trying to recover a fumble or something like that. They were trying to like, make it hard for you to pick up the
It's
ball.
just resistance running.
Yeah. And he was struggling so hard. And then I saw the hunched over, breathing heavy, walk into the locker room, like head on the wall like this, like just going through it, man. I mean, no other reports came out after that, but that's definitely not what you want to see. Your
Yeah, that's
first couple
embarrassing.
practices.
Funny enough, the person that I first saw report it was Diana Rossini, and I swear when she was breaking the news, she was like laughing, like it was like
Really?
almost like she was laughing at him, like she was trying to hold it back, but it was coming out slightly, like her laughing at the situation because that is embarrassing, bro. And Aiden Hutchinson's another one where they said Aiden Hutchinson said himself he's not in game shape.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know
Huh.
if maybe it's like you're getting ready for the combine, and that is like so different than like a football workout that's what happens. But I don't see why it would, bro. I don't see why you would come in out of shape from
Yeah.
getting in shape for the combine. That doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah. I mean,
Or
Burks.
maybe this is the other possibility that I think about too, though, is like so between like when you do a pro day and the draft, like what is that, like almost a month? So like,
Yeah.
is it
Well,
that like players are doing nothing in that month? They're like, oh, I did it. I did all my measurables.
yep. Well, sometimes it depends. Like that. Sometimes it's like a week after the combine. But yeah, I mean, I don't think they're really doing like crazy drills though during their pro days and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like it's light little,
Right.
routes and stuff like that. They're out and they're inside. Usually they're inside of like an indoor facility when they do the pro days. So when you're out there in that heat, I guess it's no
Different
joke,
story.
man. With the full they didn't have full pads on, but they had the helmet and they had like, like the basic shoulder pads and stuff like that on. But yeah, that's still you don't want to see that from your first round wide receiver. When you see like guys like Devin Floyd, I know this is like a
Yeah,
completely
hell
different
no.
position, but Devin Floyd dropping his little hype workout video, he's over here just outside, just like tossing everything to the side and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I was like, yo, this dude, he's ready to go out there and hit some people. When you got Treylon Burks over there struggling to make it through one practice, man, that's crazy. Did you see that
Yeah.
Devin Floyd video?
I did
I
not,
think
but
I sent it to
I've
you.
heard about it though.
Yeah, but yeah, the Malik Willis thing was the news that like really like I respect him, man, because the way he like handled that, he was like, y'all are just tripping. Like
Yeah,
he's
I
like, I
like
feel
how he
like,
handled it
yeah,
too.
he was like, I just feel like
He
we're
downplayed
cool.
it
Yeah,
perfectly.
and that's like just seeing that from a rookie, and like that's basically like his first live, like not press conference, but like interview on the field. Wow, you know what I'm saying? The way
Yeah.
he's handling this drama is really, really respect. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. And some other news. So in case you didn't hear, Tight End University is back, baby. Okay.
Oh,
They're gonna have 74 tight ends this year. It's gonna take place in Nashville from June 22nd to June 24th. So I'm excited for that because they're gonna put out some videos of them all getting drunk and partying together. You know how those tight ends they get
hell
crazy.
yeah.
That's what they did last time. They work out too. They do their thing, but they definitely like to have their fun at the end of the day. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we get some good content there. Another interesting tidbit of news. the NFL team that is investigating Deshaun Watson met with him in regards to the investigation. And just so everybody knows, this is going to be the first time under the new CBA where Roger Goodell actually is not deciding this punishment. It's going to be like, it's going to be like a couple, like it's like 3 people. But under the new CBA, Goodell used to decide the punishments, but now he does not. And I think that them meeting with Deshaun, this is a good news for Deshaun, okay? The best case scenario for Deshaun is that he goes ahead, because they're going to suspend him for at least some games regardless, in my opinion. Like, even if he won all of these civil suits, I think that they'd still suspend him. So, in my opinion, it would be best if he could receive that punishment early into the season, because if he receives it late in the season, that could be killer for them.
I don't think they'll do that, though. Like, oh, you're suspended week 9 through 16.
Yes, they will.
Really?
Remember Zeke? Don't you remember Zeke?
I think that's because he kept appealing it, right?
Yeah, but regardless, it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, regardless of whether he appeals, like Deshaun Watson's probably going to appeal it. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to get this process over with.
Bro, if you're Deshaun Watson, what nerve do you have to appeal a fucking suspension? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I kind of feel like, bro, if he wins all those cases, and he's made such a big deal about clearing his name. If you remember, the Miami Dolphins wanted to trade for him last year, but the whatever you want to call it, what he had to do to finalize the trade was he needed to settle those cases and not go to court. Deshaun Watson said, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm going to court to clear my name."
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think it's impossible that it could get stretched out towards the end of next year or the end of the season. I mean, we already saw it with Zeke once, so I definitely think that that's definitely a strong possibility. And if you're the NFL, they're going to want to wait till, in my opinion, they're going to want to wait till all these civil cases are done. Like, they're not going to make a final ruling until
it's going to take a while, though.
And in case you don't know, also there is a special that's running on Tuesday, I believe, on HBO Max, where they're actually, I think it's Brian Gumbel interviewing 3 of the women that have civil cases. So
yeah, I saw that. And while he's over here in the Bahamas,
chilling, I know, he brought the whole team to the Bahamas.
He's like, "Hey, man, they're about to air this stuff out."
I guess.
Yeah, for real though.
A little bit of Jaguar news as well. In case you guys didn't know, the Jaguars hired an assistant GM, executive Ethan Wog. Listen,
Wog.
I don't know how to say his last name.
Yeah, I know.
Wog,
it's a weird last name.
But he worked with Trent Baalke back in San Francisco. So I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign.
I was just about to say.
Listen, because people always say nobody wants to work with Trent Baalke. So this is a guy that used to work with Trent Baalke, and he's willing to work with him again. So I don't know. You could take that as a good sign. You could take it as a bad sign if you're like, listen, nothing went right over there. Which I don't even think you could say nothing went right. Some things did go right. They just blew up the things that went right. So
yeah.
Just a little bit of Jaguar news there. You talked about the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence and them. That was a good point with the coaching staff. That is a huge upgrade for him. One thing that I love about this staff is they have obviously Doug Peterson is a former player, but they have so many former players on the staff. That's what I love about the staff the most. Just throwing that out there.
He loaded that up, man. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. And then a little bit of sad news that I just wanted to touch on. Tariq Cohen was live on Instagram or Facebook or something. And he was doing a workout and he tore his Achilles. And he's a free agent right now. So that really sucks for him. And I just wanted to touch on him because, man, if he actually recently wrote a little piece to the Players Tribune. If you have a minute, you should read it because it's really makes you it's such an easy guy to root for after reading that, man. He's been through a lot. Yeah, he's been through a lot for sure. And just wish him the best. So wanted to give him a shout out because that really sucks that
well,
happened
Tariq.
and he was
it was a non-contact too.
Yeah, so wish his recovery. One last or 2 last things from me. One thing, all right, let's talk about Carson Wentz a little bit. All right, we remember Jim Irsay just dragging this guy through the mud. Carson recently went on Colin Cowherd. Is that how you say his name? Cowherd? Went on his show, and he was asked about it. And Carson took the high road. And he basically just said that he had great relationships with everybody in that building. Max, what's your reaction to Carson being asked in his response?
Um, I respect it. He did, he took a professional. I know deep down he didn't want to say that, you know. I do think he likes the organization, just he's not really fond of how it ended because I mean, you never want to see a freaking owner come out and just trash you publicly. But I don't know, maybe they had private meetings, maybe they didn't, but he went on there and smiled and laughed and giggled and was like, "Hey man, whatever." You know what I'm saying? So I respect how he handled it, but I just feel like that ship's just sailed for now. Like by this point, that ship has just sailed. He probably just doesn't care anymore. But still, like I know deep down it stung hearing that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's no way that it didn't hurt to hear an
For
owner
real.
literally just say, "This guy isn't a freaking leader." Okay, but yeah, you got to give him a pat on the back for taking the high road, because I actually think this is one of those scenarios where it probably was a little hard to take the high road.
Yeah.
But in Carson's case, it's actually really critical that he does take the high road, because if you start taking like strikes back, it does kind of make you look like a sour puss. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And especially this is your third team in 3 years. So that's not a good look. So you have to be a good sport about it. And he sucked it up and did it. I'm sure that was not easy.
And he's handled quite a few like hurdles, what I'm saying, pretty well. Like the whole Eagles fallout and stuff like that. I know there's like reports saying that he's a bad teammate and like he, isn't a great leader. But the way he handled that fallout and then the way he
At least
handled
publicly,
this,
he does all the
publicly,
right things.
yeah, he keeps a professional there, so I gotta respect him for that. Now, can he actually freaking be a good football player? I don't know about that. I mean, he can, but his mind
I think he's
doesn't allow him
on one
to.
of his last football lives. His last NFL starting
the
lives.
football life of
Yeah.
football life of Carson Wentz.
He's definitely on the hot seat coming into the year, but
What's
we'll
up,
get
French?
more into that closer to
You're
the season. But one last guy that I want to talk about, because he's building a little buzz. They are saying that Geno Smith might actually end up being the Seahawks starter instead of Drew Lock. Max, what is your reaction to this? Do you think that there is a chance that Geno Smith is the starter week 1? And does Geno Smith deserve a chance to be the starter?
You know what? I do think he has a chance too, because we've seen how Drew Lock is, man. You know what I'm saying? That's your options. You got Geno Smith or Drew Lock. I mean, when he came in for Russ, he did okay. He held it steady. He destroyed y'all. I'm sorry, but he looked like a QB1 over there against y'all. But, I mean, he showed, I guess, the organization that, hey, you can trust me, guys. I'll bring y'all to 4-13. We ain't gonna lose two. We ain't gonna go 2-15 now. No, I mean, I think they're just in such a bad spot. And now the reports are coming out saying they're still looking at veteran quarterbacks in the free agent market. I mean, what are y'all doing? It feels like Seattle's just lost at this point.
I didn't even see that. You saw a report that said that they are looking in the veteran quarterback market? Because I saw one that said they weren't going to add a veteran quarterback.
Let me double check, because it was either them or the Panthers.
I saw one that said the Panthers were in the market, which also doesn't make sense, because if you remember when they drafted Matt Rule.
So sorry, Seahawks and the Panthers remain interested in Baker. That's what I saw.
I don't know, man.
Hold it with a grain of salt.
I don't know. I mean, I guess the Seahawks do make a little more sense than the Panthers, because the Panthers, to me, drafting Matt Corral is like, bro, how many quarterbacks are you going to bring in here? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a full ass room. Like, somebody's got to go. So, I think that with Geno's situation, I do think he deserves a chance to be the starter. I mean, if you're going into the year with him and Drew Lock, like, why not let him compete? I mean, Drew Lock is definitely not for sure better than Geno Smith. So,
yeah, but I think they're just in a bad spot regardless. Yeah, French, it was the Panthers. But regardless, they're both gonna be terrible. And I forgot I thought earlier when you were doing when we were doing the sophomore quarterbacks, I thought you meant like the rookies from this season. I was gonna mess with you and be like, Bailey Zappi is
The guy at the
destined.
Patriots there?
Yeah, he's like number 2 on my list. I was gonna fuck with you. But what about this signing though? Jarvis Landry heading to the Saints, man. Like they looking good, bro.
Huge news. So honestly, when you look at where the Saints were before the offseason to where they are now, that receiver room is night and day.
Bro, I know.
Because you got Michael Thomas now, Jarvis Landry, and Chris Olave. That's a good
And you still got Callaway.
Yep, you're right. And you got Callaway as your 4. That is a good room right there. Now Jameis Winston, how much of it will he be able to do? I think that he'll be okay. I think given this team overall, I think that this is a huge move for them. The thing that really just blows my mind is how do they keep doing this shit? All right. They were 50 mil under the cap. And then they literally got all the way above the cap, signed Jameis Winston back. And they went out and got Jarvis Landry. And honestly, bro, if you're an NFL team that needs a wide receiver right now, like if you're the Colts, you should feel real stupid. Like honestly, they got Jarvis Landry for $6 million, $3 million base salary, and $3 million in incentives. That is armed robbery, my friends.
Yep. And not only that, they just signed Tyrann Mathieu. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that too. So
they're signing everyone.
The way they're pulling money just out of nowhere.
French said we need an investigation into them. But yeah, man, this is gonna be Jameis or bust for real. Because I mean, their O-line's decent. You know what I'm saying? They just got Penning. Of course, they lost Armstead, but I feel like they'll still be good.
Monstrous.
Their defense is monstrous, great on all 3 levels. And then you just upgraded your whole offense is just night and day.
Listen, there's a lot of like super hard Jameis believers, and they look at basically they think this is their argument is that his only problem was turnovers. And last year it looks like he solved that turnover problem because he had like a 14 to I think it was like 5 touchdown ratio or something. But my thing is like, that's true. But also, if you look at his game over game performance, he was inconsistent, man. I mean,
his completion percentage and stuff.
Dude, take out the fucking the first game of the year with the Packers where you guys just really dropped the ball. Like, I mean, he got 5 of those touchdowns in that game.
Yeah.
And he like hardly did anything.
He didn't even throw 200 yards.
Exactly. So that's my only caveat to that is like, listen, Jameis doesn't have to be great for them to make the playoffs, but I mean, winning the Super Bowl is still going to be a challenge for Jameis, and I think that he will hold them back from something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and you're playing the Bucs. I mean, of course, the Saints have the Saints are the kryptonite for the Bucs, but was it Sean Payton?
At least in the regular season.
Yeah, and is it going to be Sean Payton that was the kryptonite, or is it just the Saints in general? We'll find out, but yeah, good sign by them. I mean, it feels like that was just like a luxury sign. Like that was a team that wasn't even on my radar that was looking at Jarvis, you know what I'm saying?
Same.
But he goes back home. He goes back to New Orleans, man, just like Tyrann Mathieu. I wanted to bring this up, kind of nothing really to dive too much into, but the hearing for John Gruden versus Roger Goodell in the NFL is set for May 25th, Kiefer.
Ooh, are they televising that?
I don't know, but we're going to find out if they're going to trial or not. You know what I'm saying?
I hope they televise it.
Yeah, I know you're gonna be interested in that. If that,
nah, they're not gonna televise it.
Just get this Amber Heard and Johnny Depp crap off my TV. I'd rather see this. Dolphins signed Melvin Ingram.
Great signing. That was another super team friendly deal. He doesn't cost that much. I mean,
I don't know
the
numbers yet, but yeah, it was probably a 1 year.
It was low. It was like $6 million. It was like honestly very similar to Jarvis Landry, where it was like $3 million type guaranteed, and then the other half incentive based.
But yeah, I was like, damn, man. So the Dolphins aren't playing around, man. This season's gonna be crazy, man. I just feel like there's not even that much bad teams anymore. Like
At least
every
in the
team.
AFC. At least in the AFC, there's not.
Yeah, yeah. But I just can't wait, man. The Packers just made this man the highest paid player
That's right.
in
I almost
his
forgot about that.
position. Jair Alexander gets a freaking 4-year, $84 million extension to stay with Green Bay. He has a $30 million signing bonus, and his base salary is $1.07 million for this upcoming season. He's basically getting all that money up front. That's how you do it, man. Helping out the team while getting paid. Man,
Yeah, he's
that was a
definitely
home
worthy.
run.
He's worthy of the money. Makes him the highest paid per year corner. But it still wasn't the largest number because he didn't break a hundo. But
No.
it was
Hey, that's
still
cool,
good. It
though.
was still good.
Yeah, man. I mean, well deserved. I know he was injured last season, but we know how Jair rolls, man. You know what I'm saying? We know how Jair plays. He's great when he's healthy. Yeah, he's getting paid $21 million per year, just slightly over Jalen Ramsey and Denzel Ward by $1 million. But I feel like I know we lost Devontae Adams, but like all the guys that we were able to keep just because of him leaving is just through the roof for me, man. I'm so ecstatic because now we have Jair, Russell Douglas, and Eric Stokes locked in for about 3 to 4 years. So we got the core three locked and loaded, man. And we got our linebackers. Ooh-wee. Woohoo.
All right. Well,
Sorry.
this isn't a Packers show, so.
I know. Shut up. You're the one that talks about the Jaguars all freaking episode.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
I talked about them for 10 minutes.
I talked about them for a minute, and you're over here telling me to move on already.
You're not saying anything.
Well, screw you, buddy. How about the Drew Brees leaves
You're just
NBC?
fan drooling over there, all right?
I want to be happy. Okay, can I be happy for a second? I felt bad all week. I'm getting over my sickness. God. I'm just kidding. Drew Brees leaves NBC, though. And supposedly it was mutual that he wants to call games. He said, I ain't trying to do this studio crap. I don't want to sit in this desk. I want to go out there on the field, call the game with somebody. And NBC said, listen, we don't really have much going on. We can't really help you there, buddy, but we can let you leave. So they ended up leaving, or he ended up leaving. Now the rumors are coming out, oh, is he going to return to football? Well, here's a report for you, Kiefer. He just had shoulder surgery. I don't know if you knew that. Literally, he just had shoulder surgery. He's 43 years old. This man isn't playing anymore. Like,
yeah, I think that there's 0% chance of that. I feel like he's just entertaining it. And he wasn't like the tweet that he sent out that was like, I might do this, I might do that. I feel like he's just saying like, I don't know, but I don't think that he's going to play football. I think I do think somebody will give him a chance to call games.
yeah, I feel like Fox definitely can because, I mean, they're freaking desperate. I think Dan Orlowski just got upgraded or promoted.
They're the number 2 team for ESPN. So, like for example, when they do the I think there's 2 weeks
the doubleheader.
The doubleheader, he should be the game 2.
Okay, so he's only going to do a couple games then.
Yep, just a couple NFL games for them. He does college too, though. It's not like he doesn't do that. So,
yeah, but I definitely see. Well, people are kind of trashing Drew Brees on his he did call one game for the playoff. Wasn't it the Chargers and Raiders? No, the Bengals.
I don't think it was the playoffs. I think it was like one of those odd night weeks.
And he called it.
Yeah.
Well, they said that he didn't do that well. Not just random people. Like they were like, oh, he's sucks.
I mean, was it his first time? Like, come on,
yeah, it was his first time. I know,
come on, guys. Like, let's give him a couple fucking games before we murder this guy. Jesus, give him a chance. I mean, we let other idiots in the
Booger McFarlane call for a whole season,
right? Like, and he's over here like getting in front of fans on that thing that we were sliding around, like being a freaking inconvenience to everybody. Like Drew's just like, dude, I just want a spot to just
blocking everyone's
talk about
view.
the game. Like, give him a damn chance, guys. Relax a little bit.
They're saying
freaking Brees, have some respect.
They're saying Greg Olsen might call the Super Bowl with that dude, the other guy on Fox, because I think Fox is calling the Super Bowl this year. So that's weird. But I don't think he's gonna come back to the game, and I do think he could end up in Fox, but he might just say screw it and pull a Sean Payton and say I'm just gonna relax for a couple years. I don't know.
I don't see that, but we'll see.
I don't either because I just feel like his itch for the game is just like Tom Brady's is. Like these guys just love the game so much. It's hard for them to, So Aaron Donald, this is a rumor. Aaron Donald still is considering retirement if contract demands aren't met. This is from Jeremy Fowler from ESPN. He stated that he has a number he will play for, Aaron Donald. The contract would be record-breaking and that they would pay him well above the $28 million per year mark. What do you think about this? I know I personally say you pay this dude, but now how? How do you pay him? How do you have any more money?
This is what I think. I think you do whatever it takes to do it. All right. If he is honestly not going to play, I think it's okay to call his bluff. I think it's okay to be like, we ain't got no money, bro. I mean, there's nothing we can do. And then just like walk into training camp. And then like once the first week of preseason rolls around, if he still isn't in the building, I'd be like, all right, you know what?
Yeah.
Who am I going to cut? And then I just figure it out.
You call like 8 people to the room and like, all right, guys, sorry, but y'all got to go. I don't believe he'll retire. I think this is just him,
it
leverage.
Could just be a negotiation tactic.
Yeah, because it's like, what are you gonna say? You think you're gonna let me walk?
I mean, he does deserve it. Like, there's no number he could throw at you where it's like, oh, Aaron Donald doesn't deserve that. I mean, Aaron Donald, you could. We will be arguing when his career is said and done if he was the greatest defensive player to ever play the game, not just a defensive lineman or a defensive tackle, the greatest defensive player ever.
Yeah. And just to put in the range of that 28 million mark, right now TJ Watt, it has 28 million per year, and then you have Nick Bosa with 25 million, and then Myles Garrett with 25 million. So he'll be in the range of those guys, and I feel like he definitely deserves.
He deserves to be number one. Like are you gonna tell me any of those guys are better than him? Like, no, they're not. I mean, they're really good, but they're not better than Aaron Donald.
No, I just something I saw and I was like, wow, this man is not going to stop playing. This dude is just so dominant.
That's another reason I feel like it could strongly be a negotiation tactic because, like, if you're in down, man, like, how do you walk away? Like, you literally look like you're pushing these boys around like they're middle schoolers, man. Like, you're just dominating the game. So they got to do whatever they can. It would be bad for the NFL if Aaron Donald retired.
Yeah, for sure. And it was Joey Bosa, not Nick. I always get them mixed up. The Chargers Bosa is the 25 mil. Okay. Yeah. The Eagles, though, they just signed James Bradbury for a year, 10 mil. What a freaking steal that was. This Eagles team is loading up, Kiefer.
They are all in. They are all in. Him and Slay, that is a great 1-2 corner tandem. This team has done everything that they can to put themselves in a position to win. They are the best. Yes, you heard this. They have the best roster in the NFC East. The only question mark is, can Jalen Hurts take that next step? And listen, I think Jalen Hurts is really good. We've talked about this like quite a few times. But I think that it's going to work out for the Eagles. I mean, with the kind of weapons they have now, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. This is, we already touched on it. We don't really need to go too far into it, but this is, make or break year for Jalen Hurts. We've seen what this next draft has come to. It's going to be quarterback driven, and they have the capital to make some moves next draft. So they have the surrounding pieces for him, but can he do it? I think he can. We think he can. So, I mean, now they're just touching on everything they needed. They touched on the linebackering core that they desperately needed help with. Now they're just touched on the safety and the corners. I mean,
and they got a luxury pick in Jordan Davis because, like, you look at it, I was thinking about it the other day, man, and it's like Jordan Davis isn't even going to play that much his first year. I mean, really, because you have Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave, who Javon Hargrave is coming off a phenomenal year. A lot of people probably don't know who he is, but that guy is a beast. So you got those two guys already in the middle. I think that they'll kind of rotate those three, and then next year he'll take over for Fletcher Cox more than likely.
And the fact that he's learning from those two guys too, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
He's gonna be a great player. If he just stays in shape, you know what I'm saying? That's the number one thing everyone's
Yep.
complaining about. If he just stays in shape, his career could be through the roof. But that's pretty much all I have written down. I mean, the Colts signed Philip Lindsay and Nick Foles. Yeah. So, but yeah. So Kiefer, sorry to make you wait till Friday, buddy. But
It's all good. It's all good, man.
hope you had a great vacation, by the way.
Oh, it was fantastic. Puerto Rico's a beautiful place.
Puerto
Gas
Rico,
is like
eh?
$1.30 there, gallons.
Yeah, he came back and it's
Beautiful.
$4.50 here. Jesus
Beautiful,
Christ.
beautiful.
Well, this is all we have for this week's episode, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We are going to be back virtually again next week with y'all. We're going to be doing this for, a couple of weeks now. I enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? I can actually look at you while I talk and I'll be on the camera.
It's
Yeah.
nice.
And you sound great.
Thank you. Got the audio thing fixed.
Yeah.
So.
There you go. And we'll be back again next week with y'all. What, around Wednesday-ish? Thursday?
Sure. Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. We'll see.
Sounds good.
Play it by ear. All right, y'all. We're going to get out of here.
Next time. Peace.